Welcome back to another week. I am your co-host, Specialist Garrett Dacko with 11th Corps Signal Brigade.
And I am your other co-host, Samantha Farlow with the Garrison Public Affairs Office. And this is Fort Hood's Great Big Podcast.
Welcome to the show. With us today, we have two very special guests. We have Colonel Darren Chester, the Garrison Chaplain, and Staff Sergeant Alberto Flores, the 11th Corps Signal Brigade Religious Affairs NCO. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Special.
It's an honor to be here.
That was very good. You got my name and everything.
Did I? I practiced.
Name and the MOS.
Oh, fantastic. I made sure. So today we want to talk to you about a little thing. I heard turkey giveaways, possibly. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I can tell you a little bit, and to my right, Staff Sergeant Flores could probably tell you a good bit more because he has been serving as the action officer to make this thing happen. So one of the benefits of being the Garrison Chaplain is I kind of get to sit in my office and watch everything happen and get to tell people about these things, but I don't often get my hands dirty having to do the actual work. So Sergeant Flores and his crew has been doing all the work on that. But just to define what it is, it's just on November the 17th at 09 to 12. We've got about 500 plus turkeys, as well as the other food stuff you might need in a basket that are going to be provided to soldiers. Those soldiers have been identified by their units. Their names have been given to their unit ministry teams, the chaplain or the 56 Mike. And they'll be reporting to the Spirit of Fort Hood Chapel sometime between 09 until it's complete on the 17th to receive that and be blessed by some good people who are providing this to our community.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So I've been told that the Chaplain Corps has been doing this for 14 consecutive years here at Fort Hood.
I don't have a lot of institutional knowledge about that. I need to do more homework, but it doesn't surprise me. I've been in 19 years, and I think I remember doing this at my first duty station at Bragg.
Right.
I've been to Carson and Campbell and Benning. I think we've done something like this at just about every post. So,
wow.
Yep.
That's
awesome.
That is fantastic.
Bringing the community together, one turkey at a time.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if someone's interested in getting involved with volunteering or handing out food or really anything to help out, is there a way that they can do that?
Good question. I'm going to punt to Sergeant Flores over here.
All right.
Well, can I give you a backstory now?
You may.
Okay, well, actually when this happened last year, I was on my 10 days permissive TDY. I had just gotten here, so I didn't actually participate in the event. I did, get names for, to get the what we call Thanksgiving food baskets. Is what we call them. And so this year, unbeknownst to me, I was the project officer for the event, and I had no idea until people started emailing me and they were asking me questions about it, and I'm like, "Why are you asking me?" And so I started asking questions, especially the 3 Corps, because apparently it came from them. So there was an op order that came down that had me as a project officer for this event, and so there I go. And then the hard part was that there wasn't a lot of continuity because everybody in the 3 Corps office, chaplain's office, had changed it out, so nobody had a lot of information.
Right.
So I had to kind of piecemeal it together. And eventually I found out, like you said, it's a 14-year deal that it's actually about 15 to 20 volunteers, civilian, and some retired military that take part in it. And so I'm the project officer. To answer your actual question, they just get a hold of me. We have all the 56 mics on post that will be participating and helping out. And then there'll be about 15 to 20 civilians and retirees that will come in and participate and volunteer in that.
I have a quick interjection. For people who may not know, what exactly is a 56 mic?
So a 56 mic is it's an MOS, and I don't even remember what MOS stands for, but it's basically your job.
Okay.
And so the 56 mic is used to be called the chaplain assistant. A lot of people still know it as chaplain assistant, but a religious affairs specialist or religious affairs NCO.
Okay.
And they basically assist the chaplain. And so a chaplain assistant, we just kind of wanted to get away from that a little bit, and just that we do something else. And a lot of people will automatically, if you don't know a lot about it, will consider you an assistant chaplain.
Right.
Which is not the case. It's
okay.
You're a chaplain assistant, and your religious affairs kind of gets a little closer to what it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so we basically assist the chaplain in religious support for the soldiers.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
just like
Thank you.
NCOs are the backbone of the Army, our 56 bikes are the backbone of the Chaplain Corps. So.
Perfect. And for people, again, who may not know, what exactly is an NCO? We try not to use acronyms on the show, so that's why I'm asking.
It's a non-commissioned officer. It's basically someone who's a sergeant of some kind, whether it be a E5 sergeant, a staff sergeant, a sergeant first class, a mess sergeant.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And so it's considered an enlisted position, where it's considered non-commissioned officer is always an enlisted position. And then there's a warrant officer, which is kind of in the middle. And then there's an officer who are commissioned by the Army.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Higher ranking, you get higher ranking as you go up there.
Perfect. Always like to clarify.
Yes.
Well, I think it'd be good to give some credit to the people that we know that are helping make this happen. I mean, you asked the question, how can people help out?
Right.
And really, the big work is being done by the Food Bank of Killeen. Is that correct?
Central Texas Food Bank, actually.
Central Texas Food Bank.
Right.
And our point of contact for that is Mr. Jeff Gonzalez, who's been involved. And a big piece of the funding, if not all of it, I'm not sure, is done by some retirees and other interested people who live down toward Austin, I think maybe in the Georgetown area. It's a housing development called Onion Creek. And they're the ones who said, we need to do something to serve our Fort Hood families and soldiers.
Yeah.
And so they got this idea. They linked together, and they were linked up with my office, I guess, at some time in the past. They're the ones who make this happen. We really collect the names. We'll be there to form a line and hand stuff out, but that's those are the real people who donate to make this happen.
That's incredible. Wow. Yeah. Thank you to those people. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Ken Jacob is another guy that's from Onion Creek, I guess. And he's the main guy that I've been in contact with. But anyway, I got a hold of him and Jeff Gonzalez from last year's event, the last project officer. It's kind of just got those names, and that's how I got in contact with him and found out that it was something that they've been doing kind of voluntarily. And they do a lot of the actual getting the food and the donations. And then, the project officer is kind of like that's me, but is responsible for organizing it on our end as far as getting all the names and getting. Actually, hot off the presses right here is the 580 turkeys and all the fixings, all the names that I have collected and put together. So we're going to have another, what we call an IPR, which is just basically a meeting about the event, since you don't like acronyms.
That's correct. Thank you.
So it's IPR number 4. So meeting number 4 is Wednesday, and we'll be meeting discussing the details of the event and kind of finalizing some things.
Yeah.
And then we'll have it the following Wednesday.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Could you give us a little information on why doing something like this is so important for Fort Hood specifically, but just kind of in general?
I think it's important because there is a need, number one. And I think this year particularly, it's going to be an enhanced need.
Yeah.
Prices have been going up, and I think we're going to find more soldiers perhaps having a hard time making ends meet as we go into the Thanksgiving and Christmas season, particularly. People with kids, especially, they want to make it a special Christmas for their kids, and we'll often go overboard. I remember being a young parent who was poor. I have 6 kids, by the way.
Whoa!
Wow. They get very expensive, for Christmas.
Yes, I bet.
I don't have any more. They're mostly all grown up now, but you want to give them a big Christmas, and we'll often go into debt and maybe make some decisions we may not financially, but we want to do that because we want to care for our families. But this year, it's going to be harder.
Yeah.
Like I said, inflation's going up. It's going to be more difficult. I think we're going to have the need. And so that's why it's an important event. And it also provides a way for people to serve the community. The fact that there are retirees who came together to try and make this happen just testifies to one of the things I think that makes Fort Hood and the surrounding area such a great place. I mean, these men represent thousands and thousands of people who do stuff every day in our community for our soldiers that we really just don't even recognize. So we're giving them a little bit of a kudos here, giving them some good press, but they represent, like I said, thousands of others, and people need an opportunity to serve. People want that opportunity. That's one of the things that makes this area great too. That's one of the things that makes America great, and that makes Thanksgiving, such a special time.
And Chaplain, just to add on to that, I think another reason it's important this year as well is that we also had another event that's usually on Christmas. It's called Celebration of Love, where we give out the bicycles and things like that to the families and stuff, and that was canceled this year. So that's another reason this is important, because this might be the only event we have like this on post. And
well, I can tell you there is another food giveaway going on the 22nd.
Right.
Okay.
And I just learned about this last week. Food Care Center of Killeen has linked up with our command financial specialist across post. They're doing a very similar event.
Wow.
On the 22nd, they're going to be giving away turkeys and such to a lot of needy families as well.
Wow.
I was contacted a few weeks ago by somebody who works for Amazon up in Dallas. They wanted to have a toy drive and bring them in. And we don't have a lot of space for toys, but I linked them up with our Santa's Workshop.
Yes.
They said, please bring us the toys, and they're going to collect those. And so, once again, you just got all these people who want to do stuff, who want to give of themselves to care for soldiers. It's happening all over the place, and we often don't recognize it.
Yeah, and I was going to say that I was trying to make it a little more special because of the Celebration of Love was not happening. I contacted a few vendors, and I was able to get HEB, the supermarket, to donate 600 bags of the reusable bags we can put all the fixings in there. So they're going to give us 600 bags instead of giving them. Usually we probably give them in a cardboard box.
Right.
But we're going to have those actual bags from HEB. They donated those to us for the event as I reached out. And then also McAllister's is going to provide lunch for all the soldiers that will be helping out, being like the workers there.
Yeah.
They're going to give a lunch because it's going to run till about noon.
Okay.
So we're going to have some kind of lunch breaks, people rotating out. They're going to provide sandwiches. Excuse me. Sandwiches. They're going to provide McAllister sandwiches, some chips, and a cookie, and some sweet tea and stuff like that. So
That's awesome.
I really appreciate when I called out to these vendors. They were very open to helping out. And also the commissary wanted to help out as well. So we haven't exactly figured out how to get them to help out. But because, these volunteers for this event, they provide everything. I mean, the turkey, the stuffing, everything, all the sides, the desserts and the rolls, everything. I mean, they give you everything, up to the cranberry sauce and everything. So, so I was almost thinking of asking the commissary maybe to provide the dishes, to cook the meals in or something like that. So that's one of my thoughts about it, getting them to maybe help out with that.
Some details to be shared later on.
Right.
Yes.
Well, that sounds amazing. I love food, so the holidays are one of my favorite times. But I really think that giving back to the community, and especially giving back to soldiers and their families here on Fort Hood, is easily one of the greatest feelings you can. It's one of the greatest things you can do for the community, but it's also a great feeling when you give back.
Yeah, good feel-good moment for yourself and for everybody involved.
Right.
Yes.
And how exactly, if you can divulge this, how exactly are those soldiers and their families chosen for this?
Okay, so I have my spreadsheet here. This will kind of help me out. And there wasn't typically, they didn't give me a lot of detail in the op order. And so typically in these events, we try to help out what we call the enlisted, the lower enlisted, or the junior soldiers, usually at least E6 or below. And so I had to come up with my own criteria because there was nothing really there. But just based on what we've done in the past and things like this, I wanted to make sure that we helped out junior soldiers, and then junior soldiers that are either single parents or that have multiple kids, 3, 4, 6 kids, like Chaplain here. But, especially the smaller kids, people who are younger and may not have the rank, to do something like this, because a lot of times in the military, especially, the the spouse usually doesn't work. They stay home because
Yeah.
sometimes the soldier's gone all the time, and it's kind of hard to, to pay for childcare. And sometimes, and a lot of times, the parents want to be with their kids as well, and that's
Yeah.
part of it as well. And so they don't have those two incomes like a lot of families may have when you're in the military. And so we wanted to make sure and reach out to those lower enlisted who make a little less than everybody else, basically, is the reason, and the ones that had multiple kids. And we didn't necessarily say, hey, if you only have one kid, you can't. But we wanted everybody to prioritize,
Right.
get those, PFC specialists, sergeants that have multiple kids and things like that, and then prioritize from there. Of course, we did help out some staff sergeants, even some sergeant first classes that had several kids,
Right.
or they were single parents. They were the only parent in the house, and so that's kind of how we did our criteria. And we kind of how I did it as a project officer. I guess it was up to me, but I kind of based it on a lot of what we've done in the past from the Chaplain Corps.
Wow.
Yeah,
And because we use what's called mission command, in the military. We push the decision as far down in the command chain as we can. So
Yeah.
we've got chaplains and religious affairs specialists at the battalion level and above. So the battalion level, those chaplains, those religious affairs specialists have pretty good visibility on what's going on in their footprint. They may have anywhere from 250 to 800 soldiers, depending on the unit,
Wow.
in their unit. But they know the company commanders and first sergeants. They know the platoon sergeants and, platoon leaders. They know their people. And so we push that information down to them saying, hey, here's how many allotments we can give you. Like this battalion, you can hand out 20.
Yeah.
You fill these 20 with the folks that you think need it. Here's some good criteria to help you judge that. Sergeant Flores talked about, and we let them make those decisions. And if they need extras, we can cross level and balance as we need to, to take care of those needs.
yeah. And actually, I got the roll up of the how many soldiers were in each brigade. I kind of divided by brigade. I got that from 3 Corps, and so of course, first Cav and first BCT and second BCT are a lot larger. Close to 4,000 in that each of one of those brigades, and some of the smaller, what we call separate brigades, you don't have as many soldiers. So
Right.
I kind of just got whatever the volunteers and those who were donating were going to give us, and then I kind of just divided it on percentage based on the size of the unit, and that's kind of how I divvied it up for everybody to be kind of equitable to everybody. If you have a bigger unit, you're going to get more because you have more
Right.
soldiers, right? And you have a smaller unit, you're going to get less, and then towards the end, I said, if you're not going to use all your baskets, let me know, because there's other people.
Somebody else
There's
could
even
use
smaller
it.
units that we're just able to find more people that were in need. And so I said, just let me know. And so this last week or so, even up to today, I've been trying to get every basket and make sure that I get all of them designated to a soldier. And so that's kind of been my last few days, is what I've been trying to do, and get them all handed out, make sure we get everybody designated.
Wow.
Yeah, that's incredible. So if someone has a question about this event specifically, or want to volunteer for maybe future events or anything like that, how would you guys suggest they get in contact with either of you?
Well, it's really a 3 Corps
Okay.
pushed event. So
Yeah.
3 Corps would be 3 Corps chaplain's office is usually who pushes out the op order for that. And then the project officer always changes. So this year would be me if you want to get involved this year. But in the future, I would be the 3 Corps chaplain's office would be a good one, because they push down that order from up high, I guess, or whatever. But they kind of, are in charge of that op order. And,
Right.
and so they have all that content information. I'm going to try and get a continuity, so that way I have all these contacts. And next year, they just have to look at what I had, and then go from there and do whatever they need to do for this event.
I would add on to that, hey, you can call my office as well, the Garrison Chaplain's office. We're easy to find on Facebook. You can just search Fort Hood Religious Support or Garrison Chaplain. You could Google that. It should go straight to our website. Easy to find us. But as well, to volunteer, I would encourage you to get involved in a chapel. We've got dozens of them that are happening, services that are going on. We do have 12 chapels. Not all of them have things going on. But we do have lots of services going on. Those services are always doing things for the community. And if people want to volunteer their time through those services, we'll certainly put them to work.
Find a place for them.
Right.
Perfect. Well,
it's a place for everybody.
yeah.
Yes.
Could you guys give us just a quick recap on the time and the place for people, just so that everyone can kind of remember those times?
Yeah, so the actual event is on the 17th of November, next Wednesday.
Okay.
And it's going to go from 9 to 12 is when we're going to have the soldiers show up. We'll be there a little earlier at 7:30. So, if somebody was wanting to help, it'd be more like between 7 and 7:30 to show up to help out for that.
Okay.
But I would have them contact me for sure if they're going to do that because, we're going to have a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, I don't want them to just be
Too
looking
many.
around thinking, what do I do? And I've also encouraged the chaplains to be there. They don't necessarily have to be there as mandatory, as we call it. But, I encourage them to be there because their soldiers are going to be coming through there and they're going to be, I want them to greet their soldiers and say hi and things like that. And just have that opportunity to, shake hands and kiss babies, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
For the, just to get out there and talk to them. They don't have to necessarily work, but just be out there. And then, of course, we're going to be doing most of the work with the enlisted soldiers. And so I wanted to make sure we fed them in that. And so, they can get a hold of me, and it's on the 17th of November. And I think all the volunteers are showing around 8 o'clock. They're showing up, bringing the truck in with all the Thanksgiving meal in the back of that truck. And so we're hoping that we can give all those out. And I don't know what other particular that maybe I
that's
left out.
perfect.
Okay,
No,
good.
that's great.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say thank you to the Chaplain Corps for putting on this event and all the events. I actually grew up in a single parent household, and so this actually, means a lot to me to see that, even the Army cares about those single parent families, and so it really does mean a lot, and I'm sure it means a lot to those families as well.
Yeah. I
So
hope
thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And I'm just blessed to be the project officer. It was a lot of work, but it was fulfilling to know that we're going to help out a lot of people. And so in the end, it was worth it. And I also wanted to say that I think we're going to have a retired general coming. I'm not sure of his name yet. And then we'll also have a state representative from Texas, Vicki Godwin, will be volunteering. She'll be one of the volunteers. And so there was some talk about another senator coming, but I don't want to say anything if he's not really coming. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are that are going to be volunteering, but that really see this as an important event and want to help out.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys both so much for coming on the show with us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for the time.
Thanks, Dacko.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Samantha. Appreciate it.
Come join us for the Fort Hood Spouses Club 40th Annual Holiday Bazaar at the Clean Civic and Conference Center, Saturday, November 13th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, November 14th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Admission is $8 for everyone 12 and older. This year we have over 100 vendors, food trucks, and face painting.
And don't forget photos with Santa.
Happy holidays from the Fort Hood Spouses Club, and we hope to see you there.
So 500 turkeys.
580.
580 turkeys.
Yeah, that's a lot of turkeys.
I think I could get through maybe 2.
I couldn't get through any because I'm a vegetarian. Plot twist.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank goodness that the Chaplain Corps is helping out these families that are in need during the holidays.
Absolutely.
Because I can't really say that I've been there, but I know what it's like. I grew up, my mom was a single mom, and it's hard during the holidays. It really is. And so getting just a little bit of help, it feels like,
especially help that you don't have to necessarily go out and ask for it. They're just here to give it to you.
They're just giving it.
Yeah.
Like,
you didn't have to do anything. It's just being here. You're going to get some help.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It truly is amazing. And speaking of food, you know what's really amazing?
What?
Thanksgiving's coming up.
Yeah, it is.
And so is pumpkin pie.
Ugh. Pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
Apple pie.
Okay, well, apple pie.
Yeah.
But
apple pie.
pumpkin pie.
No.
No?
No. It's just
Okay.
like mush. Hot take from me. It's mushy.
You heard it here first.
Yes.
Pumpkin pie is mush.
Yes, it is. I will not eat it. Ugh.
Oh, all right. Well, apple pie
Gross.
is delicious.
Apple pie's
I
the
love
best.
all Thanksgiving food. I love all holiday food.
Yeah,
And speaking of holidays, Veterans
Yes.
Day is today.
it is.
I can't believe it.
I know. This year has flown by.
It really has.
Yeah.
So what's new with this Veterans Day in particular?
Yes, I'm glad you asked because this Veterans Day, they have a theme, which I didn't know that this was a thing.
themes?
Yes.
Oh
I
my
did some
gosh.
research. Yeah, so they are talking about the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. 100 years
Wow.
of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Yes.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So if you are unaware, it is in Arlington Cemetery, which is in Virginia, the National Cemetery. It was originally dedicated by the Army on November 11th, 1921. Naturally, that's 100 years from today.
Right.
It was for the burial of an unknown soldier from World War I. And
Wow.
since it, was created, they've added a few more unknown soldiers to it. So there's not just one anymore. But the most exciting thing about this theme is that people can officially lay flowers at the tomb, which they were not able to do before.
Wow.
Yeah. So now you get to, watch the ceremony of the changing of the guards and get to go and lay your own flowers.
Which, by the way, if you're listening and haven't been,
Yes.
you have to
It's
see it.
incredible.
There's something just awe-inspiring
Yeah.
about seeing that ceremony.
Very
and,
breathtaking.
Oh, it truly is.
Yeah.
Truly is. And very emotional too, being
It
there.
is, yes.
It is amazing. And I'm very glad that they let
know.
people lay their own flowers
I know.
now.
I'm really excited for that. I think it'll give people, you get to see this amazing ceremony and it is very awe-inspiring but I think being able to, provide something as
Right.
well, kind of pay your respects in a
Right.
step further than just being there, I think is going to be really nice for people.
I think so.
Yeah. So Veterans Day is dedicated to the cause of world peace and to honor American veterans of all wars. So all very inspiring.
Very. And to all the veterans out there, thank you for your service. Thank you for what you've done for this country. We truly are very thankful.
Yes, absolutely.
And we hope that you have an amazing weekend. Go out and barbecue and thank any veteran that you know. Please give them a thank you. Send them a message, just something very simple. A little can go a long way for a lot of people. So if you know anybody, please just reach out to them this Veterans Day.
Absolutely. So I think with that, we can wrap up.
All right.
Yeah. So thank you again to everybody. Thank you for listening. And we will see you next week.
This podcast is a U.S. Army Garrison Fort Hood and Fort Hood Public Affairs production. The show's theme music is written and produced by Delicious Allstars. All our music is obtained through Filter by Songtrader. Have a question or want to share some insights with us? Email us at forthoodpao@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at USAG Fort Hood. And as always, be sure to leave a review and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.